Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have an update about one of Trump's capital terrorists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So you guys may remember Cleveland Meredith Jr. He was the 52-year-old man. He's originally from Georgia, and then I believe he had moved to North Carolina. However, he was arrested, if I am not mistaken, in Colorado. So he didn't actually make it to the Capitol in time for the attack because he drove from Colorado, where he appears to have been vacationing with his sons, to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. And apparently he had some car trouble along the way, so it kind of put him behind on his plan. However, he posted numerous threats and statements on social media and in text messages, which is what led to his arrest. In fact, it was his own mother who reported his threats to the FBI, and they were luckily able to locate him and arrest him on January 7th before he could potentially shoot anyone. He did, however, have time to assault just a random person because there's a report that he got into an argument with someone over a double parked car, and he ended up headbutting this person and knocking them to the ground and then assaulting them when they were on the ground, allegedly. And then he took off in his truck. Now, when the FBI tracked him down and they searched not just his vehicle, but also his trailer that he had with him, they found a Glock, a 9mm pistol, a Taver X95 assault style rifle, and it had a telescopic sight on it. They also found high capacity magazines, thousands of rounds of ammo, and the ammo included 320 armor-piercing bullets. They also found THC edibles and a vial of testosterone, which really explains a lot. Not the THC, but the testosterone, as you're going to hear. Anyway, the weapons were extremely concerning because in text messages, Meredith made it very clear that he planned to hurt somebody, that he planned to shoot people. He made explicit threats. One January 6 text read, quote, "ready to remove several craniums from shoulders." Others said, quote, 3.5 hours from target practice, and, quote, headed to DC with a shit ton of 5.56 armor-piercing ammo. And then he ended that one with the devil emoji. Others read, quote, wartime, and I'm going to collect a shit ton of traitors' heads. Other text messages specifically named targets of his intended violence. In one message, Meredith allegedly wrote, quote, thinking about heading over to Pelosi cunt's speech and putting a bullet in her noggin on live TV. He also threatened the DC mayor. He texted, quote, I may wander over to the mayor's office and put a 5.56 in her skull, FKG cunt. Nice guy. Then he sent a text message indicating, or several text messages, I should say, that he believed he was under surveillance. He wrote, quote, I've been on the radar for a while now. They know I'm harmless. But the reason he was on their radar was because his mother turned him into the local police, who then in turn reached out to the local FBI where he had been living. So when he moved, apparently, she reached out to law enforcement and said, hey, just want you to know my son is moving to your area and you should keep an eye on him because he might be dangerous. Yeah. He also wrote things like, quote, LOL, just having fun. My spy name is Double O Dipshit, and which I agree with. And included with the text about the mayor, he wrote, quote, I hope you're reading this, Mr. FBI agent, FKU. So he said all those things, tried to make it out like he was, joking, like it wasn't a big deal, but his anger and the threats didn't subside the following day because there were text messages that he sent also on January 7th where he threatened to run over Nancy Pelosi. He said, quote, "I'm going to run that cunt Pelosi over while she chews her gums, dead bitch walking." He also said, quote, "I predict that within 12 days, many in our country will die." And this is not the first time that this guy has made threats of violence. According to 11 Alive news outlet, Meredith graduated from a very prestigious private school in Georgia. Apparently his family, I don't know if they were wealthy, but they were well off. He wasn't somebody who was hard up. He didn't have a hard life. This guy went to the best schools, went to college. I mean, he had a pampered life. He is the quintessential privileged white male who's just pissed off because he can no longer be in charge of everything. So he went to this school. It's called the Lovett School. And they banned him because there was a 2019 altercation on campus with threats of violence. And I guess he got into a scuffle with the police or with the security guards there. He apparently entered the campus because there was a historian who's been critical of Donald Trump. I believe it was John Meacham. And anyway, he was speaking at the college. And so Meredith shows up and gets into it with the police or whoever and ends up banned for life from the campus. And you guys are going to be surprised to hear this, I know, but Meredith is evidently very racist. I know that's not what you usually hear about Trump supporters, but no, it's true. One of his former classmates told a New Yorker magazine journalist that she unfriended Meredith after he began posting, quote, "exceptionally racist things." So this was apparently when Obama was in office. Meredith was posting on Facebook. And in one post, she recalled that Meredith referred to Obama as a, quote, porch monkey. Great guy. Another former friend said that after Dylan Roof murdered all those people at that Charleston church, you guys may recall that, this guy said, quote, "his post just became so virulently racist and unmoored from fact, I drew the line." So that guy also allegedly unfriended him. And Meredith also showed up, I guess this was in 2020, just last year, he showed up at a BLM protest after George Floyd's murder. And witnesses say that he was carrying his Tabor rifle and that he was holding it up in a menacing manner, allegedly. Now, in addition, you're all going to be equally shocked by this fact, but in addition, Meredith is a Q-loon. I know. You never saw that coming. Apparently, he has his own company. He has a car washing business, and he put up a billboard near his business that said hashtag QAnon in all caps. Then later, he added the hashtag and the QAnon to his company's marquee. And apparently he got into an argument with some local real estate agent who said, you know, you really shouldn't do this. You're driving away parts of your business. People are going to think you're crazy. They got into this huge argument. Meredith accused the guy of, "Oh, you must be on welfare. You're probably unemployed." I mean, like you're going to be. Anyway, shortly before the 2020 election, Meredith began making threats. He started making indirect, non-specific threats on social media. In one Facebook post, he wrote, quote, "Dearest POTUS, we patriots will gladly clean up our little internal mess. Just say when." He later wrote, quote, "I genuinely hope POTUS labels the scum in our country as enemy combatants so that I can legally start collecting heads." In other posts, he talked about his desire to, quote, "eradicate and obliterate the enemy." And once he wrote that it would be, quote, "hunting season soon." And he's noted that they would be hunting, quote, "satanic scumbags." On December 19th, Meredith posted, quote, "Goat POTUS calls for protest in DC on January 6, 2021. he'll be giving us patriots our licenses. That too was followed by the devil emoji. So license for what exactly? Then on January 4th, Meredith texted a friend and he said, quote, "We're going to surround DC and slowly constrict." So this guy's been an issue for quite a while. He's been on police radar, FBI radar. He's been an issue. His own family knows what a threat he is. And yet he still has visitation with his sons where he can take them out of state, apparently. And he had multiple weapons. Our laws are so ridiculous, it's insane. So anyway, Meredith admitted to sending these text messages on January 6th and the 7th, but he claims, oh, they're just political hyperbole. It was fun. I was just being hyperbolic. I was just acting tough, blah, blah, blah. No big deal. Yeah, because you always send those messages and then take the weapons and the ammunition with you just because you're joking. So luckily the grand jury didn't buy it because they indicted him. He was indicted back in February. He was then hit with a superseding indictment in April, and he was charged with numerous serious crimes, including interstate communication of threats, possession of unregistered firearms, possession of unregistered ammunition, and possession of large capacity ammunition feeding devices. Well, he has now agreed to a plea deal, and the prosecutors, as you would imagine, are just pissing me off yet again. I'm sorry, but especially when children are involved, it just sends me over the edge. It sends me over the edge to know they're not taking this seriously. So Meredith was allowed to plead guilty to only the first count of sending the threatening communications. All other charges are going to be dropped against this guy. The maximum punishment for that crime, for sending those threats, is 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine, which is pretty steep of a fine, right? But the prosecutors told the judge they're only seeking 2 years in prison and $75,000. Seriously? I really hope that his ex-wife fights for full custody of their sons, because this guy seems to be so dangerous and completely unable to control himself. And we just saw what one of these Q nut jobs did, that kidnapped his own children, his own toddlers, and murdered them because of these insane conspiracy theories. I wouldn't want my kids anywhere near this guy until he got some psychological help. And fuck these prosecutors. I hope this judge has the good sense to impose the maximum penalty on this man, and that he or she just ignores the prosecutor's request. What would have happened if he showed up on time? And, I think about it, guys, how many people, like that report I shared with you guys yesterday, how many people had backpacks and bags? Do you know how lucky we got? Do you know how close we came to a massive explosion at the Capitol? We already had somebody who left bombs around the area of the Capitol. What if one of these people brought explosives into the Capitol and placed them somewhere? Do you know how many lives would have been lost that day? It didn't even have to be one of these domestic terrorists. What if there were foreign terrorists who saw all the chatter online and got it into their head? Hey, this would be an easy way for me to sneak into the Capitol with the rest of these people and just pretend I'm a Trump supporter and then blow everybody up. This was such a close call. It's not even funny. And they're not taking it seriously. They're just not. They are encouraging the next attempted insurrection. It's unreal. Anyway, guys, I will let you know when he actually is sentenced. He has pled guilty, but yeah, we have to wait for the judge to make that determination. So I'll keep you posted. As always, thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.